Back in 2020, I covered Samurai Jack, Battle Through Time. I was interested in it because I'd heard that the devs, Soleil Limited, were formerly part of Team Ninja, the group behind the modern Ninja Gaiden series. As of the making of this video, Soleil has made Valkyrie Elysium for Squeenix, but their next standalone title, Wanted Dead, will drop on Valentine's Day in 2023. Soleil isn't ashamed of its past. If you watch some of the trailers for Wanted Dead, you'll see them prominently feature their works back when they were with Team Ninja. However, there was a time when Soleil was another studio just after breaking off from Team Ninja, Valhalla Game Studios. Valhalla made only one game in 2015, Devil's Third. This game is notorious for the disparity in its quality compared to Ninja Gaiden. It looks dated, plays like Ninja Gaiden but with only a third of its gameplay, and makes up for that missing content with middle-of-the-road cover-based shooting. This game is a footnote in Japanese game development stumble through the 7th gen, and deservedly so. But I think it's worth covering because it's the missing link between Wanted Dead and the Ninja Gaiden series. Unfortunately, for me at least, getting a hard copy of Devil's Third nowadays ain't easy. It's a Wii U exclusive, and I currently don't have easy access to my Wii U. What's even worse is that it is obscenely expensive in the used game market. Even if this game isn't good, I still wish it had a port for modern systems, just to experience it naturally. To even play this game, I installed a Wii U emulator on my computer, which isn't as simple as running Dolphin or PCSX2. I'm putting this out because emulating Devil's Third results in graphical issues that wouldn't exist if I ran it on original hardware. Some objects lose their diffuse textures, so I'd end up seeing the normal maps instead, or the normal maps of other objects on their faces. Particle sprites also get weird. When I make criticisms of the game's graphics, I have to make a distinction between the graphics as they would show on original hardware versus the technical bugs I experienced in my setup. After a while, I got used to these bugs and was able to look at the game itself. So let's talk about the game. Devil's Third is a 2015 game that's half character action and half third-person shooter by Valhalla Game Studios. You play as Ivan, a Russian special ops agent from a group known as the School of Democracy, or SOD. He's detained in Guantanamo Bay, but seems to have one of the nicer cells in the compound. His old group caused a massive EMP attack and disabled all satellites and electronics in the world.
Good Lord, what is happening in there?
Something bothering you, Ivan?
The prison's been on emergency power. Cut my playing time straight to hell.
A Senator Armstrong lookalike tasks Ivan with breaking out of Gitmo and stopping his buddies with the promise of a sweet-looking guitar. Ivan meets up with the Special Forces team, butts heads, buddies up, and faces each of his former comrades while they call him a sellout.
Is this what you've become, Ivan? I taught you to fight with your hands. And there you are, a gunslinger, a killer without a soul. Are you blind to the suffering? Are you deaf to the cries of the starving?
With some help from his ex-protege, he stops an international crisis and the game ends, but not without a sequel hook. I can't say this game is a product of its time, because it feels extremely late to the party, and that probably has to do with its troubled development. DT's first teaser trailer was in 2010, but there wouldn't be another trailer until 2014, and by then, the game was a completely different animal. See the logo? Where's Ivan? And who are these two silhouettes supposed to be? The E3 2010 trailer features two different player characters and more emphasis on verticality in the combat. Not sure if they reappear in the multiplayer mode, as I don't think I can even get that mode running. The 2014 trailers finally show Ivan and the SOD. Devil's Third's combat is a mix of hack and slashing and cover-based shooting. Ivan can carry one melee weapon and two firearms. Press Y for light attack and X for heavy attack. You can jump with B and follow up with light or heavy attacks for aerial strikes. Hold ZL to lock onto a target and press X to throw your melee weapon at that target. Hold L to block melee attacks. If you hold L while moving the left stick, Ivan will either dash or dodge roll in that direction. Ivan starts out with his trusty katana for every mission, but you can swap it out for other melee weapons. Hammers and axes are slow but powerful, and knives are weak but fast. I never switched out the katana, as I thought it looked cool enough already. To switch to guns, either press up on the D-pad or quickly pull ZR. You can switch between guns with up or down on the D-pad. Hold ZL to aim down sights. Press or hold R to throw a grenade. Holding R lets you see the grenade's arc as well as cook the grenade. Press in the right stick to crouch to get through tunnels. Press in the left stick to sprint. If you crouch while sprinting, you'll slide. You can run up certain walls by pressing jump while moving the left stick. If you move Ivan to cover, he'll automatically stick to it. You can turn this off as well as aim assist in the options menu, but don't. Both features are very handy, if not altogether crucial to playing this game. When you're fighting with your melee weapons, you'll automatically finish off enemies with a slick kill animation. It's reminiscent of the obliteration techniques in Ninja Gaiden 2. As you perform melee kills, a meter fills up. When it's completely full, press B and Y to activate Inbaku. Ivan's stats glow, and the kills he gets in this form extend its duration. Keep in mind that Ivan isn't invincible in this state, so don't think he can take on a whole room of enemies while out in the open. Despite its negative reputation, I actually didn't mind the early parts of Devil's Third. The melee combos are simple compared to Ninja Gaiden, but that was understandable as the other half of the gameplay would involve cover-based shooting. Shooting wasn't that bad, even though the first gun you get has a horrible sight picture. I got used to dumping my starting guns for a mix of an LMG for its magazine size and a sniper rifle for its ability to one-shot every basic enemy unit. Every now and then, I'd pick up an RPG and just spam the rockets. As a character in a 7th gen shooter, Ivan is a very weird quality. He regenerates health super fast, like Wolverine fast, but he's also extremely squishy. It doesn't take much to put him in the red, but likewise, it also doesn't take much to get him back into the fight. This would be fine on its own, but there are external factors that occur that can switch the tide of the fight and cause an abrupt death. First, the bats. There's this old Ninja Gaiden 2 documentary that used to be available on Xbox Live, but I'll link it in this video's description. This video was a huge puff piece where everyone in Team Ninja and Microsoft was sucking up Tomonobu Itagaki, the director of Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2.
Tomonobu Itagaki, a free spirit who demands perfection.
Itagaki definitely stands apart from his games. He really walks into a room as if he was Mick Jagger circa 1973.
There's a part in the documentary where Itagaki is playtesting a section of Ninja Gaiden 2, and he says, if you look at every Devil's Third trailer, Itagaki's name is the first thing you see before any gameplay appears. Just like Soleil, Valhalla wanted to make sure you knew who was making this game. Why am I spending so much time talking about Itagaki? Because the bats. Oh my god, the bats. They are like piranhas in the air. Just walking through a cloud of them will put Ivan in the red, and they're usually right before an enemy encounter. Make sure you get to cover after running into some bats in this game. Then there's a sheer number of enemies per encounter. In the Ninja Gaiden games, you would usually square off against 4 to 5 enemies at any given time. This might have been due to tech limitations, but in practice, it was a sweet spot for enemy encounters. Enemies were fast, deadly, and could wombo combo you, but you could still come out on top if you were on your game. To compare, here's a boss fight for the second mission. This is a Dark Souls 2 set piece. Naturally, you want to hug the columns and shoot the guys out, but a lot of them come with RPG launchers, and these are just the basic units. Once the heavy armor units get introduced, you'll end up with rooms with like 8 of them at the same time. They're the reason I keep an LMG equipped, because they're the biggest bullet sponges in the game. And then there are the mutants. These things have high poise, so they'll attack even if you've been whacking them, and they'll put you in the red with just 2 swipes, so of course the game makes you fight 10 of them in a room. This doesn't get any better with the boss fights. Just like Ivan, they've also got this weird double-edged quality. Once you know how to deal with them, they're easy to rush down, but they can also wipe you out with a handful of attacks if you're not dodging their moves. This led me to a paradox I never thought I'd experience. This is a game developed by the team behind Ninja Gaiden, where I preferred everything but the gameplay. Ivan gives off a bad first impression. He looks like Itagaki's version of a build engine protag. He's Lo Wang with Duke shades and stoicism. He ends up working with a Special Forces squad, and both sides puff their chest until the one female character in an Itagaki game, who wasn't designed with one hand, redirects their attention to the mission. After a few skirmishes together, Ivan and Alpha Squad get on better terms, and by the end of the game, they're a band of brothers.
Here. That's what good luck beats. It's your own point. You'll need it more than I will.
Are you sure?
It's kind of cute to see their development. Devil's Third's plot is just as surprising. It checks all the boxes you need for a standard action movie story, but the bosses trade lines with Ivan that add little bits of detail to their characters and their relationships to one another.
Jane.
Hello, Ivan. It's been years since you've come to my bedroom. I heard about Big Mouse. And now I find myself a widow.
The locales are similarly surprising. Devil's Third follows Ninja Gaiden 2's formula by breaking up its campaign into separate stages set in different parts of the map. This lets the art team go ham with the environment. You'll visit the gritty streets of Panama, a fictional Eurasian country, and plenty of military bases. As I played the game, I started drawing comparisons to contemporary titles like Vanquish and Metal Gear Rising. Ivan and Sam Gideon are both loners forced to work with the American military to stop a faction of rogue Russian terrorists, and their campaigns show the bonds they develop with their squad mates. Also, they both enjoy a good smoke in the middle of a firefight. Devil's Third and Metal Gear Rising both have areas with fake Oriental aesthetics. They also have villains that are terrorist groups posed as private military firms. Japanese devs were having a bit of an identity crisis during the 7th gen. They chased trends that were popular in Western shooters to court bigger markets. Devil's Third is one of those casualties. I feel like every game I've reviewed up until now has prepared me for Devil's Third. I can draw parallels to this game in several titles I've covered in my channel. The obvious comparisons are against other character action games, but I already know that Devil's Third will fall short. But there's another group of games with which it dovetails perfectly. The leader of the boss squad in Devil's Third is from a Japanese ninja clan who fled to Russia and served as a Soviet Union's wet-work division. He wants to purge the world with fire and remake it in his own image. That character, a Japanese person that became Russian, is such a fitting symbol for Devil's Third because this is a game made by Japanese developers, but it feels like a Slav-jank action shooter. Even if I could get Simu to render the game properly, it would still look like a shooter from 2009 instead of 2015. When I play Devil's Third, my mind doesn't jump to Ninja Gaiden, but to more effects. I didn't hate playing this game, but I also understand why it's been trapped in Wii U purgatory for so long. Also, fun fact, I can't even play the final mission. Once the briefing plays, Simu crashes the desktop every time, so I'm using someone else's gameplay to fill in those bits for my video. The link to their playlist is in the description. In my Ninja Turtles video, I ended it saying that although it isn't a good game, it served as a lesson for Platinum to develop better games later down the line. I hope I can say the same thing when Wanted Dead comes out. Devil's Third is by no means a good game, but it can serve as a lesson for Soleil to build a better mousetrap for next year.